Hello. Gosh, this is the first time I'm doing a YouTube live. I hope this is working. Um, Let me just check the audio. Uh, yeah, I really hope this is working. If not, we are going to have to unplug this microphone. Um, I am going to make a start. It looks like it's working. Okay, so welcome. I am so happy to have you here. Whether you're a bride or a groom or a maid of honor or a parent or someone getting married, anyone helping a plan a multicultural South Asian or intercultural wedding, today is going to help you breathe so much easier. My name is Poonam, and I'm a multicultural and South Asian wedding planner based in Sydney, Australia. I don't know how long you've been around or if you've been following me on YouTube. I have been on this channel for quite some time, but haven't been as active as I'd want to be. But I am making a comeback as we speak. And if you've been following me since the start of this year, you would have seen that I've got quite a few shorts, YouTube shorts that I've been putting out, and lots of content. So I hope you're enjoying it. Anyways, I've been planning weddings and events. I've been in the industry for just over 10 years. And I've worked on multi-day, multi-event celebrations across Australia and overseas as well. And I've worked in Ireland, and I've also worked in Bali. I've been planning weddings, though, full-time for about 5 years. And my goal today here is very, very simple. It's to help you to go from chaos to clarity, because multicultural weddings are beautiful, but they're also so complex, right? Emotional. If you're Indian, you know. Put your hand up if you're Indian. It's so emotional, so complex and layered, and nobody really prepares you for that, not even your family. And so I wanted to get straight into it. Basically, if you stay until the end, I have some very special things that I'm launching today, and a resource for the first time, a very, very, very helpful resource, which I know that you're going to love. And I'm offering it for a limited time at a discounted price. So you are going to honestly love this if you are a multicultural bride or groom, or you're planning an interfaith wedding as well. And especially if you're Indian too, I've kept you in mind for this particular product. So aside from that, I'm also offering a free 1-hour consultation with me. So it's a one-on-one session with me. If you leave a comment in the comments after the while watching the live, or even if you're watching the replay, we would love for you to leave a comment, and you will go into the draw to win a free consultation with me. But I'll explain a little bit about that later. And also offering discounts on my services. So if you are local to Australia, or if you're overseas and you are looking for a planner or a coordinator with many years of experience, as well as hospitality experience, you have come to the right place. So I will tell you more about that later too. But Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, or even if you want to message me separately on Instagram or socials, uh, where you're tuning in from, what kind of wedding you are planning. Um, and yeah, I would love to know. I love hearing your stories. So before we jump in, I want to say that first, that you're not behind, you're not doing it wrong, you're not alone. Planning a multicultural or South Asian wedding is not the same as planning a one-day Western wedding. You're balancing multiple ceremonies, multiple families, multiple expectations, multiple budgets, sometimes multiple cultures. I once did a wedding where there were 3 different cultures involved, so we had 3 different ceremonies. So yeah, a lot of emotion. So if you've ever felt really overwhelmed, confused, or like you're constantly trying to play catch up, that is completely normal. So today I'm going to give you those tools that us planners use behind the scenes, so you can walk into every meeting with confidence, every conversation with the vendor, because the vendors pretty much make your wedding. They make or break your wedding. And so I want you to go into these meetings feeling prepared and in control. Um, so let's start off with why the multicultural weddings feel overwhelming. Let's start with why this feels hard, because you understand the root causes and the things, once you start understanding, the root causes and the things that make up your wedding, things will start making sense. Uh, Number one, like, there's so many moving pieces, right? As I mentioned. And I've mentioned in previous videos before as well. There's so many moving parts and pieces to a South Asian or a multicultural wedding. Each event has different outfits. If it's across multiple days, you're talking different vendors, you're talking different rituals, different timings, different guest expectations. Then comes number 2, the familial pressure and those cultural expectations that your family wants you to, um, wants you to follow. South Asian parents in particular, they mean well, but let's be honest, they also have opinions. Lots of them. I sometimes feel like the stories that I hear, they clash with your vision. And honestly, I hear so many stories from so many couples where they're like, oh, we want it this way, but our family's telling us to do it this way. Uh, oh, it's the story of my life sometimes, hearing these stories from couples. Um, and then there's the lack of cultural, uh, like, there's a lack of understanding from venues and vendors. I mean, put your hand up or tell me later, if you're watching the replay, if this resonates with you, because this is how we feel, in particular in Australia. And I'm going to be blunt, but it's just the way it is. And I got married in 2012, and it was honestly one of the biggest struggles for me and my partner. And to this day, unfortunately, it is still a massive struggle. So, you know, um, many couples end up educating the venue or educating their vendors instead of the other way around. And you spend hours and hours explaining why you need the fire permits, or why a ceremony is going to take 2 or 3 hours long, like, yeah, 2 or 3 hours in duration, why you need to have a changeover during your ceremony, why you need vegetarian food, or why you need halal, why your haldi can't overlap with rehearsals. And it just drains you. It honestly is so draining explaining this to your vendors and your venue. Um, and then number 4, everyone plans in the wrong order. Every single couple I speak to, every single couple I speak to, the they're not doing it the right way. And that's where I want to guide you with that. Most couples start with choosing the venue, then they'll start putting a Pinterest board together, color scheme. But with multi-day, multicultural weddings, you need a specific order. And a lot of that comes down to the guest lists, like how many guests you're inviting, because sometimes, especially for Indian weddings, we invite quite a lot of people. And so, and also there's so many specific needs. And then number 5, too many cooks, not enough clarity. But everyone wants to help. No one knows the full picture. So this is why today is about frameworks, not pretty inspiration. Before we dive further, I want to share a quick story with you, and one that really sums up why, um, really sums up why planning a multicultural wedding can feel so overwhelming, but also so meaningful. So I worked with a couple recently, a South Asian bride and a non-South Asian groom. 2 cultures, 2 families, 2 different sets of expectations. When they first came to me, they were really exhausted. They said something I hear almost every week, whenever I have a consultation with a couple. We just want to, we just want everyone to feel seen, but we don't want to lose ourselves in the process. And honestly, that's the heart of multicultural wedding planning. It's not just logistics, it's navigating emotions, identity, family, history, traditions, and the pressure to just get it right for everyone. They had chosen a venue purely because it looked good, and they admitted that. It looked great, and it was going to look great in photos, especially. But I'm so sorry. I'm just going to take a quick drink of water. But a month later, they realized that their venue didn't allow open flame rituals, which they needed for the ceremony. Um, the noise restrictions was an issue, and there was no backup plan for weather, or they basically just said, you figure it out for yourself. I mean, I'm not saying that they said that, but that was sort of how it was communicated. And the awkward part is that the venue hadn't worked on many multicultural weddings before. So they kept on saying no to requests simply because they didn't quite understand the rituals and the customs, even though we tried to explain to them how important these rituals were. And the couple was visibly upset, not because they were being dramatic, but because it was, they were being forced to choose between the venue and, their culture and what they wanted, basically. And this has happened to so many multicultural couples, not because they're unprepared, but because nobody gives them the questions and the structure or the right information early enough. So when they came to me, sorry, I told them, let's try and build a plan that supports your cultures, supports your families. We stayed at the same property, but we worked out a way where we could somehow incorporate the rituals, incorporate uh, the music, the food, the elders' needs, the groom's family's traditions, all while staying true to the modern minimalistic style and aesthetic that the couple was after. And when everything finally came together, it was it was lovely. It was magical. Both families felt included. Both cultures were represented beautifully. And the couple said that this feels like us, but obviously there were certain things that they couldn't do because they chose this venue themselves before coming to me. So, yeah, this is exactly why I created today's session, because you shouldn't have to learn the hard way. You shouldn't be stressed or blindsided or pressured into choosing between logistics and culture, basically. And you absolutely deserve clarity before you spend uh, a single dollar, or before you spend money that you shouldn't. So I don't want you to make that mistake. I'm just going to check the chat box and see how we're going. Okay, we don't have any questions or comments at this stage, but yeah, if you're watching the replay, please, please leave some comments and leave a message. If, like I said, if you can't leave a comment, leave a message after the replay and let me know what your thoughts were. So the next thing I wanted to go through is the chaos to clarity framework. So I want you to get into clarity mode. There's a 5-step framework which I use with all my multicultural couples. Step 1 is to map your events, not your decor. Before choosing a venue, before choosing a color scheme, before going to Pinterest or Instagram for ideas, decide which events you're having, which culture leads each event. So if you're having a multicultural wedding, which what do you want to acknowledge in that particular event? Which rituals must be included? Which ones can be shortened or adapted? Who is attending which event? Where the emotional pressure is likely to come from. This one step solves half of your overwhelm. So I know that's a lot to think about, but honestly, you are going to have to do the homework, especially if you haven't hired a planner or someone to help you. So number 2, build the guest list first. The guest list is the biggest budgeting tool and the biggest conflict creator. I have mentioned time and time again that more guests means more money, more spending. So, uh, you know, figure that out. Who is really, really important to invite? Maybe a B list, like, okay, nice to have. And then you remind yourself and remind your family as well that, oh, hey, more people equals more money. Just keep on saying that to your parents. uh, the next step, step 3, you need to work on your non-negotiables. What are non-negotiables? Non-negotiables are those things, those must-have things at your wedding. And I like to tell my couples to have at least 3, if necessary, maybe 5. Is it that you really want to have good entertainment? Do you want that live band? Is that the most important thing? Do you want live food stations? Do you want that violin player at your wedding? Okay, we'll list those things down and try and narrow it between 3 to 5 things. And then from there, you can create a realistic budget. And you can also work out, okay, there's those things that are nice to have. Let's put that in the nice to have column, and that will be our buffer. What do I mean by that? That will be if we have some extra spending or extra budget left over, then we can go and revisit that nice to have list. So, one thing that a lot of couples do not prepare for is that there's a lot of hidden costs, a lot of hidden stuff that um, you need to account for, and or you don't think about, right? Unless you hire a planner, car hire, uh, whether the pundit or the priest or celebrant asks you to buy stuff like items for the ceremony. Uh, if the venue doesn't have curry bowls, you need to uh, um, include an extra cost for that. You need to ask your caterer to supply curry bowls because the venue doesn't have curry bowls. Equipment like a tandoor, if the venue doesn't have the tandoor. Those of you in India who are watching are probably thinking, "What? This is how it is in Australia." The caterer needs to bring this stuff, and so that there's extra costs involved. I'm not going to go into any more, but there's just tons and tons of things that I could list. I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating, but there's thousands of little bits that are not accounted for in a standard multi-day or multicultural wedding budget. And there's things that you need to think about, right? So going back, as I said, step 3, non-negotiables, and then you can create a realistic budget. I'm not going into budget because that's a whole different ball game and a whole different conversation. But let me know if you do want another webinar about budgeting alone. I'm more than happy to do that if there is a request to do so. Step 4, choosing vendors who understand culture. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not putting down any vendors here, by the way. I fully respect everyone in the industry, and everyone comes from different backgrounds. I'm all about inclusivity, and I love that, especially in Australia. That's what makes our industry so exciting. There's so many different nationalities and so many different cultures. We are a multicultural society in Australia. So I do, though, wanna stress that, it if you are hiring a vendor who perhaps hasn't worked on many multicultural weddings or, say, an Indian wedding, for example, then you shouldn't be the one to teach them, okay? I'm sorry, I'm just being blunt here. You shouldn't be the one to teach them. You need vendors who understand the cultural nuances, okay? Um, Perhaps you might need to explain a little bit at the beginning, but I think that they should also, from their end, there should be some respect, right? Um, so your vendors must understand multi-day timelines. They must respect cultural uh, nuances, religion, and rituals. They must understand modesty, tradition, gendered spaces. They must know how long ceremonies actually take. Don't force Western timelines as well, especially if you're not having a Western wedding. So, these are all the sort of things you need to think about before you hire a vendor. And yeah, it's a lot of work, but uh, if they aren't willing to learn and you are going to have to do most of the work, anyways, that's something to think about, and you're probably going to have to ask that question. Step 5, family strategy. Um, what do I mean by that? You're not managing conflict. You are creating a calm structure. So, my tip is to have one spokesperson per family. So, from each side of the family, one spokesperson. Use a shared family calendar, whether that's Google or Outlook or Apple. Uh, Share clear expectations early. Set those expectations early. Tell your family, this is what we want. It's your wedding after all. It's 2025. Okay. Give everyone one thing, maybe, if they want to be involved. Say it's the parents. Okay. Give them the religious things to deal with, or the catering. Uh, because let's face it, you're not going to be able to do everything on your own. And hold firm on those non negotiables. As I said, it's your wedding. This removes 70% of emotional overwhelm. I just need you to be clear on that. Like, just hold your ground, stand firm. Do not, do not allow your family to walk over you. Okay. um, the next thing I wanted to talk about was the questions every multicultural or South Asian couple has to ask. This part is so, so important. The biggest source of stress I see, couples simply don't know what to ask. So they leave vendor meetings feeling confused, embarrassed, or unsure. And so that's why I have created the 100 plus essential questions for multicultural weddings. It's a fully culturally inclusive vendor checklist guide. There's going to be quite a lot of questions there for venues, for decor, for caterers, for celebrants, priests. Just to give you an idea, for venues, what limitations do we need to know about? Are cultural specific food or rituals allowed? For decorators or stylists, can you reset between events? Have you styled uh, a South Asian or multicultural wedding before? For caterers, can you accommodate for dietary needs? And for celebrants, how long is the ceremony going to be? These are quite simple questions, but they are essential. And that's why I've called it the essential questions guide. It is going to literally save you, and I highly, highly recommend that you download this guide. I do not want you to go into your meetings not knowing what to ask or feeling like you aren't really sure, you know, what to ask as well. So hence why I created this guide, and I'm going to give you another preview of it shortly. The next bit I wanted to talk about was the top 5 mistakes to avoid. Let's quickly cover the mistakes that I see all the time, which I've already covered ever so slightly, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. So, yes, planning everything on the fly. I mean, come on. Again, like, I'm not sure what your jobs are, but what you do in life, but I am sure in your workplace they don't want you to do that. Everything is structured. And so, similarly with weddings and wedding planning, everything is supposed to be structured. And it's a mistake I see all the time, planning everything on the fly, not using proper tools, timelines, task list, shared calendars. You need to have at least a spreadsheet. Just don't do everything on the fly. Number 2, relying on family to coordinate everything. They should be your guests, not your staff. Like I said, maybe you can give your family a few different tasks, but do not give them everything. Whatever you do, delegate stuff, because you can't handle everything on your own. Your parents can't handle everything on their own too. So delegate everything. Number 3, booking the cheapest vendors or the most popular vendors. You're going to pay for it later. Like, seriously, don't just book that vendor in because they're cheap. Don't just book that vendor in because they've got 50,000 followers on Instagram. It doesn't work that way. You need to read the Google reviews. You need to speak to these vendors. You need to have conversations. You need to ask them the right questions before you lock them in. Just because one, photographer might, let me start again. Just because your friend had hired that photographer doesn't mean that you should be hiring that photographer. Every couple is different. Every one of you is different. Your style and your vibe for your wedding is completely different to your friends. Please do me a favor and think about that before you book in your vendor. Think about, what is it that I want? What is it that, which photographer, for example, if we're talking photographers, which photographer is going to suit my style, my aesthetic, or my vision? Do I get along with this photographer? There's so many things that you have to think about before you choose your vendor, and that's where the question guide is going to really, really help. And also, sorry, going back to the cheapest point, look, everyone in this industry prices differently. We all price differently. Our overheads, our costs of running our business is completely different. And just because one planner charges $3,000 for a 3-day wedding doesn't mean that, I should be charging $3,000 for a 3-day wedding. Okay. We all have different costs in our business. We all have, some of us have families, mortgages and so forth. So, there's something to think about before you book in the cheapest vendor and before you start with the price comparisons. Don't just say, "Oh, that person's cheap, so I'm gonna book them in." Go and look at the Google reviews. Go and have a look and take a look at their profiles and think about, "Okay, is this someone that I wanna work with?" Hop on a call with that vendor. As I said, hop on a call with that vendor, figure out if that vendor suits your personality, matches your personality, matches your vibe. Can you see yourself communicating with this vendor across the next 12 to 18 months? Um, Number 4, ignoring venue restrictions. This is the downfall, as I said to you before, that story, as I gave you that story before. Venue restrictions is a downfall for so many couples, so many multicultural couples, because don't we don't have venues, in Australia. I'm not saying, sorry, we do have venues. Not all venues can accommodate for multi-day, multicultural weddings. And number 5, not building a buffer. Multicultural weddings always cost more than expected. Uh, More often than not, people have a budget and then it blows. It's just the way it is. Yeah, especially Indian weddings, like, it's just, there's always gonna be more things added on top of the initial budget, and I see it time and time again. So speak to your parents, speak to your family. Uh, they're bigger, they're longer, I understand they involve more people, but you really, really need to have that buffer. So I usually say anywhere between 10 to 20%. I know that varies depending on the type of wedding you're having. If it's a one-day wedding, perhaps that buffer will be a bit less. But yeah, always, always. I honestly think for Indian weddings in particular, it's 10 to 20%. What's the next bit I want to talk about? Your next best steps. Okay, so we're almost there. I can't believe it. Almost reached the 45-minute mark. If today has really helped you and helped you gain a bit more clarity, I hope, here's what you need to do next. You need to download my free wedding planning checklist, which I'm going to link to in the notes below. After the webinar, you need to download that free wedding planning checklist. That's just a starter guide to get you off with your plan, like get you off the ground, pretty much off your feet. I can't even talk. It's Friday. This is your secret weapon when it comes to just starting. The next thing you need to download is the 100 plus essential questions for multicultural weddings. This is your secret weapon to vendor meetings. It will save you stress, it'll save you money, and it's going to save you time. Having those questions in front of you as a guidebook, like, you can literally bring it out every time you talk to your vendors. These are the questions that you should probably ask at the beginning, but say, the vendors answered 1 or 2 questions on that list really, really well, then okay, awesome. And you feel confident and you want to book them in, great. But I do highly recommend that you go through the rest of those questions in order as well over the course of the months of working with that particular vendor. So, as I said, it will save you so much time and stress and overwhelm. You can head to stan.store/the Maharani Diaries, and it's the first and the only thing that you can see on the store right now. So check that out. It's for a limited time. Not sorry, it's not there for a limited time. It is always going to be there, but for a limited time, I'm offering that at $20, 20 US dollars. The recommended retail price, though, is 29 US dollars. The amount of work that I have put into this guide, it's years of speaking to couples, and honestly, I could have put more questions, and I'm pretty sure there's more than 200 questions, to be honest. I've got 100 plus questions, but I swear there's more than 200 questions in that book. But I've put in so much work in this because, yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I talk to so many couples. I talk to so many vendors. This is a guidebook that doesn't exist for multicultural or South Asian couples. And, being Indian myself, I I faced this many, many years ago when I got married, and it's a resource that I honestly wish I had, but it didn't exist. So I really, really, really think that this is gonna be of so much value to you. As I said, it's for a limited time only, 20 US dollars. I I am going to increase the price to 29 US dollars eventually, but I really think that it's going to help guide you with your vendor meetings. You really need to download this. You really need to visit the store. And I'm going to link that in the notes after this conversation. So yeah, that's the first thing. And number two is sorry, that was the second thing. Apologies. Number three, I'm offering Black Friday bonuses, and these are only available again for a limited time. Discounts on consultation, on coordination, on planning. If you book the consultation services, you do get my question guide, uh, which is the one that I'm selling at the moment. I do need you to leave a meaningful comment, though, under this video, a meaningful one. Tell me, what was your biggest takeaway? You must be a bride or a groom or someone getting married. And basically, you're going to go into the draw in the chance to win a 1 hour consultation with me, a one-to-one chat. We're going to work together to help you properly structure and plan your wedding. I'll give you clarity. I'll give you a step-by-step plan. You can ask me anything in this consultation. And depending on when you're getting married, basically it's 1 hour and we can book it whenever. It's going to be over a Zoom chat or a Google Meet chat. And we will lock that in for you. So if you do want to win a consultation with me, please leave a comment. I would love to know what your biggest takeaway was after watching this live. And honestly, an experience to talk to someone professional like myself is invaluable. Trust me. Planning a wedding in 2025 and beyond is not easy. And having an expert to guide you with that, it's invaluable. And I don't want you to miss out. So if you do really want that consultation, that free consultation, you do need to leave a comment. And I also would love if you did subscribe at the same time. That would be fantastic. And in terms of the services, if you are interested in full planning, coordination, or consultation services, these are being offered at a discounted price. If you just email me at info@themaharanidairies.com, you can leave your details there, and I will get back to you about those pricing details for our services. And that also is for a limited time only. And yeah, I thought, being Black Friday, why not offer these discounts for and promotions. I understand that it's a challenging time to be planning a wedding, whether you're in Australia or any part of the world. It's not an easy time, and I fully respect that. And so this is where I wanted to. This is how I wanted to support my audience, and thought, why not do this for the first time? So I will be announcing those in the notes shortly after this live. And if you're on the mailing list, by the way, which again, if you download the free checklist, you do automatically join the mailing list, by the way. So again, I'm going to link that in the notes. So please, please, please join the mailing list, and you will hear all about my updates and all the happenings every week. So we're almost at the end. I don't see any questions. I've seen a thumbs up, and I saw a couple of people pop online. But if you are watching the replay, I would love for you to leave a comment. Please, 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 please leave a comment. And yeah, I haven't decided when I'm going to announce the winner. I will announce it pretty soon. I'm thinking I'll leave this open for about a week or so. So I understand everyone's busy. It's a really busy time, and it's Thanksgiving in America. So if you're in the US, happy Thanksgiving. I totally understand. I know it's a busy time. So if you're watching the replay, yeah, let's give it a week. Let's give it a week. If you leave a comment, or even if you want to message me the comment, amazing. You will go into the draw to win that free consultation with me. I am going to wrap it there, I suppose. As I said, these bonuses are going to be offered for a limited time only. I will announce very soon. If you're following the channel, of course, you will be able to keep an eye on all the updates. But I don't want to give a date as yet, because it's something that I all of these offers are something that I strongly believe you should not miss out on, especially if you are a bride or a groom or someone planning a wedding, or or a sibling helping plan your sister or brother's wedding. I really, really want you to take my advice today and put it into action if you can. I also forgot to mention that we do also have a Facebook group, which unfortunately has been a little bit quiet lately for personal reasons. But I do have a Facebook group as well, which will be active again very soon. So if you want to join that Facebook group, again, I'm going to put this in the notes. I know that was so much to take in, and I went over 45 minutes. So you got an extra 5 minutes of me. But I really, really want to thank you for tuning in and for watching today's live. And if you're watching the replay, hello to you. Thank you so much for the support. I've been running the Maharani Diaries since 2015. It's been 10 years since the name was registered, and I think it started off with Instagram, and here I am today planning weddings full time. It's crazy to think how far it's come. And again, thank you so much for those of you who've been around since the beginning and following the journey. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for bigger and better things in 2026. And I look forward to doing something like this again real soon. And perhaps I'll do it at a time that's more convenient as well to more people, because I did have some messages saying that, "Oh, this time is a bit tricky." That's all good. I can, I can do it at another time, but or if you have a time that you want to request, I'll happily take that into consideration for the next live. Have a wonderful weekend. I am going to link everything in the comments very, very shortly. Thank you so, so much for joining, and happy weekend, and all the best with your wedding planning. If you are getting married, all the very, very best. Thank you so much again. Take care.